Harold Hamm, born in 1942, wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was born with an iron will and a hunger for oil. Starting in Enid, Oklahoma, Hamm's life was oil, driving trucks, working rigs, absorbing the industry's rhythm. By 1969, he'd founded Continental Resources, a small company with a giant ambition. But Hamm wasn't content with incremental gains. He saw the potential of the Bakken Shale, a geological gamble that baffled many. Undeterred, he saw a treasure trove locked in the tight shale, a prize worth the risk. Hamm was a strategist, a gambler, and a master of the deal. His game plan for the Bakken was audacious and multifaceted. Hamm knew he had to own the ground to own the oil. He embarked on a land acquisition frenzy, employing a mix of negotiations, strategic partnerships, and the occasional audacious bid. In 1969 to 1970s, Hamm relied on personal funding and early investments from a small group of close associates to launch his first ventures and begin building Continental Resources. In 1980s and 1990s, Hamm's expanding operations led him to seek larger capital injections, relying on partnerships with private investors, some of whom became long-term partners in Continental Resources. His initial foray into the Bakken was in 1987 when he acquired Great Plains Gas, laying the groundwork for a larger presence. In 2000s, as Continental Resources operations expanded and the Bakken's potential became clearer, Hamm secured larger loans from institutions and investment funds, attracted by the promise of high returns from the Bakken oil fields. The acquisition of XTO Energy in 2007 was a game-changer, securing vast tracts of land in the Bakken, a move considered a bold risk at the time, but one that solidified his position in the oil game. In 2008, Continental Resources acquired the largest private landholding in the Bakken, signifying Hamm's relentless drive to secure control of the region's oil reserves. By 2010, Hamm's insatiable appetite for land continued. He merged Continental Resources with Kodiak Oil and Gas, another move to further expand his empire. Hamm was a believer in fracking, a technology that unlocked the Bakken's hidden potential. It made the unconventional no more. He invested heavily, pouring resources into fracking technology, a risky bet that paid off in spades. His embrace of fracking when it was still relatively new was courageous, proving his gut instinct for recognizing game-changing technology. In order to do that, he needed a massive injection of cash, and he wasn't afraid to leverage debt. He cultivated relationships with private investors, convincing them of his Bakken vision, securing loans, and demonstrating a willingness to take calculated risks. His 2007 public offering, raising over $1 billion, was a watershed moment, opening the doors to a vast pool of capital for expansion. Hamm was a master at convincing investors to buy into his gamble, demonstrating a charisma and vision that secured funding when many were skeptical. Hamm wasn't invincible. The 2008 financial crisis, a global shock to the energy industry, could have crippled his operation, but Hamm, a seasoned poker player, adapted, leveraging his relationships and financial expertise to secure loans and navigate the storm. He weathered the crisis, emerging even stronger by capitalizing on opportunities during the recovery. By 2014, the Bakken boom had reached its peak. Oil prices soared, and Continental Resources, under Hamm's leadership, had secured a significant chunk of the region's oil production. However, every boom has a bust, and Hamm's empire wasn't immune to the downturn in oil prices that followed. He shifted from an aggressive expansion model to one of cost optimization and efficiency. This marked a strategic pivot, showcasing his ability to adapt and steer Continental Resources through turbulent market conditions. The COVID-19 pandemic of 2020 proved to be a significant challenge for the industry. Demand for oil plummeted as global economies slowed, and prices dropped dramatically, threatening Hamm's empire. His response, however, was to double down on cost containment, operational efficiency, and a commitment to sustainability. This adaptation allowed Continental Resources to weather the storm and emerge with a more sustainable model for the company's future. About Continental Resources' value. In 2014, Forbes magazine estimated Hamm's net worth to be around $13 billion. This was largely due to his ownership stake in Continental Resources and the company's success during the peak of the Bakken oil boom. The current market capitalization of Continental Resources is around $26.96 billion. Hamm likely still holds a significant stake in the company. Hamm became a vocal advocate for the oil and gas industry, fiercely lobbying for policies that would accelerate oil and gas development and promote energy independence. He built strong relationships with key players in Washington, D.C., wielding his influence to shape the energy landscape in his favor. His advocacy brought him both accolades and criticism, highlighting the contentious nature of the oil industry's role in shaping a future with sustainable energy. The successes achieved by Hamm through Continental Resources are undeniable, but they've also sparked significant debate and controversy. Critics of his approach, particularly in the environmental arena, have raised concerns about the impact of his operations on water resources, air quality, and potential seismic activity within the region. As the world moves towards cleaner energy solutions, the future of the Bakken and Hamm's legacy remain uncertain. The oil industry, long a dominant force, is facing increasing scrutiny and pressure to transition to more sustainable alternatives. Hamm's story is a captivating tale of ambition, risk, and reward. He achieved a level of success few in the oil industry reach, transforming a sleepy corner of North Dakota into a thriving energy hub. But as the global energy landscape shifts towards renewable sources, the future of Hamm's legacy hangs in the balance. His legacy, both celebrated and contested, remains a reflection of the complex relationship between energy, ambition, and the future of our planet. See you next time for another energy adventure. Like and subscribe to keep the oil flowing.